They finally did it! Holy shit! They finally made an Evangelion movie with just the right amount of action, just the right amount of emotion, and just the right amount of character development. I could not comprehend how awesome this movie was, especially since I just watched the very alienating Evangelion 2, a movie with very little focus and way too many forced moments. Here, we get a brand new storyline, free from the constraints of the TV series. The characters go off in all kinds of new directions, but still have believable relationships between themselves, which forms the surprisingly emotional core of the movie, and there's still the odd epic battle here and there. I was completely caught off guard. From the get-go, we get two awesome action sequences. The first one reacquaints us with Asuka and Marie, who are now suddenly a lot more developed. Asuka has now, thank goodness, gone back to being the hot-headed badass that we all know and love. She's no longer a disgusting bully, but a passionate fighter. Marie is still pretty much useless, but again her character is well handled, this time with an added coolness which contrasts with Asuka's fiery nature. I actually like Marie as the mascot for the Rebuild series. I feel that even though she contributes very little to the story, her purpose towards the franchise is ultimately served. The second action sequence that happens more or less afterwards is a sight to behold. Honestly, my jaw dropped when I saw this explosion of glistening 3D imagery, intelligent military style tactics, and even lasers! Lasers! There's no complaints from me about the 3D removing any technological detail this time around, just me gushing over how well the 3D was used. It added so much movement to the action to the point where the sequence felt like one big intense roller coaster. The musical score during of which comprises of epic orchestra and heavy metal guitars, which really helps make the first 32 minutes insane. There's about 50% action and 50% drama, which is a really nice balance. I never got impatient waiting for any action to happen during the long, quiet drama of the second act. This is where the movie turns into a romance between two boys, Shinji and Kaoru, and it works. There was so much patience dedicated towards making their relationship so natural and meaningful without ever going over the top. This development is accompanied by an array of creative and dreamlike images. The stargazing scene in particular really struck a chord with me because I'm a lover of brutalism architecture, so seeing the characters stare at the stars from within a broken stone structure generated a very cooling atmosphere. Although the relationship Shinji has with Rei and Asuka take a back seat, they are still surprisingly strong. Now, when a 90-minute movie can set up and execute multiple relationships well within a short time span, it shouts skillful filmmaking. It's crystal clear how all the relationships between all the characters work, and once more, it's crystal clear how those relationships are all unique. Most of the characters are quite different now, and this gave Evangelion 3 a chance to be a lot more creative with how everybody was handled. Rei, for example, has become my favourite character again, as her mysterious nature has been fully recaptured via a few new changes. Shinji is more isolated and lonely, so while he's gone back to being the boring teenager from the series, I still really felt for him, a lot more so than I did in other Evangelion media. Again, the Evangelion series was all about relationships and tight economic script writing, and both approaches were successfully transferred over to this movie. Now, I am a sucker for cinematic filmmaking, and this movie, despite having a very simple story, is packed full of cinematic filmmaking. From the image of Kaoru playing the piano, to a battle taking place on top of skulls. As much as I'm tempted to throw substantive reviewing out the window and just throw out describing words like, it's awe-inspiring, it's wonderful, I just want to focus on two cinematic techniques that I liked. The use of depth of field gave grit to the animation, and the use of piano music really enhanced the emotional scenes. In fact, I very nearly complained that the final song was not Beautiful World by Utada Hikaru, but since the piano intro worked so incredibly well with the final shot, that complaint quickly disappeared. The key to the success of this movie as a part of Evangelion is that it's free from having to force itself to connect with the frankly more superior series. Now that Evangelion 3 is no longer constrained, it fully embraced its newfound freedom. As a standalone anime movie, it got everything right. A focused story, natural character development, well-executed fantasy sequences, beautiful emotional moments. This movie feels like a wonderful dream, and I really can't find any problems with it. You might want to skip the standard Evangelion 1 and Evangelion 2 if you haven't done already. This is one of the best anime movies I have ever seen. 5 stars out of 5.